Hello, my name is Stefan Stefanov and I am chairman of Forum Information Technologies in the Future of Economic Science, as well as an engineer from the Institute for Systemic Economic Engineering. Today I'll be presenting our paper, Restoring the Prestige of Engineering Education from an Engineering-led Digital Transformation of Economic Science. This concept actually is extremely far-reaching and multidimensional, so I will concentrate only on the most essential parts, while the rest you can receive later by email, so please feel free to fill in the blanks that my colleague gave out to you, and thank you in advance. So, in the following minutes, you will hear about the new knowledge and technology developed in laboratory conditions in the past 25 years in Bulgaria. I would like to note that last September in Barcelona, we presented this knowledge to the engineers at the annual conference of the European Society for Engineering Education, who showed great interest. During the discussions with our colleagues, we talked about the future engineers and their need to have better management skills and better knowledge about the modeling the economy of the enterprise. But there is no consensus among the higher education institutes on what this knowledge is and where it can be acquired from. You might know that currently our engineering institutions take materials from the MBA programs that have been developed by economic science and implement them as they are in engineering education. My co-author Stefan Stefanov and I are both engineers with MBA. The materials are pretty much the same everywhere, even though we are from different schools. But let's see what is the opinion of successful tech entrepreneurs about MBA education in economic schools worldwide. The question is, are these opinions extreme or are they just stating the truth? From personal experience and also from our conducted studies, we can say that it is true that in MBA, students acquire the so-called soft skills. However, the problem is a lack of actual practical knowledge of managing the economy of the industrial enterprise and its processes. And this is a problem for engineers especially because we are practitioners and we need real practical skills to manage industrial processes. Therefore, engineers require deep knowledge about the principal setup and way of functioning of the enterprise for machines that is as close as possible to real-life practice. This type of knowledge is called Business Model Ontology. Similar to the Human Model Ontology, or the knowledge of anatomy and physiology of the human body, the PMO is a schematic and formulated description of the principle of operation of the industrial enterprise, considered as a systemic object and subject. However, it is shocking that Business Model Ontology has now existed as a term for over 20 years, and yet there is no adequate theory behind the concept of it. There are attempts to develop a theory of Business Model Ontology, but all the attempts coming from economic science have been unsuccessful so far. Actually, the best attempt is made by the great American engineer William Deming and his flow diagram. And yet, what do you think? Is Deming's diagram being taught in engineering education or in MBA? The answer in general is no. And so the reason we from Forum ITFES and IC are here is to present the successfully created true Business Model Ontology. This is the theory developed by Bulgarian engineers as a practical knowledge system for managing the economy of the enterprise. It is already proven by achieving extraordinary results in various enterprises for machines, as well as among hundreds of working engineers and students. Everything was developed and tested in the past 25 years by the Institute for Systemic Economic Engineering in a unique laboratory system. The created Business Model Ontology consists of the concept that no one has been able to develop so far, a schematic and formulated description of the principle of operation of the industrial enterprise. This true Business Model Ontology has two cognitive platforms. The first platform describes the principle of operation of every enterprise as a systemic object, while the second platform describes the principle of operation of every enterprise as a systemic subject. I will start with a brief explanation of the first platform of the Business Model Ontology, the industrial cross. According to this scheme, every enterprise for machines, as in its capacity as a systemic object, exists as a result of the synergy of 5 functional systems. System for sales, system for production, system for supply, system for financing, and system for implementation of the technological environment. The 5 functional systems of the industrial cross manage the assets under the enterprise's control. This management is described as 2 object flows. The first flow is a circular 4-tier flow. It is formed and driven by the synergy of the 4 functional systems for sales, production, supplies, and financing, and it is commonly referred to as the working capital flow. The second flow is a 2-tier centripetal flow. Its purpose is to provide for the functioning of the technological environment of the enterprise. This flow is driven by the functional systems for supply and implementation of the technological environment, and it has two parts: expenses flow and investment flow. I would like to note that while the four systems of the working capital flow have been defined separately in various sources, the disruptive discovery is the definition of the system for implementation of the technological environment. This system represents a meta-system, as it provides for the functioning of all the other four systems, as well as its own operation. It manages both the technical environment, consisting of the multitude of objects, and alongside the organizational environment, consisting of the multitude of subjects and cognitions of the enterprise. Thus, the system for implementation of the technological environment defines and allows us to manage the building cell of each enterprise, called the operational technological field. The definition of this smallest building cell of the enterprise gives us immense managerial abilities to develop new enterprises or make fundamentally sound changes to existing ones. In addition to the schematic representation of the principal setup and way of functioning of the industrial enterprise, our PMO also contains a formulated representation of all the processes taking place within the enterprise. Until now, no other theory has produced such a holistically formulated representation. And this is the key aspect of our PMO that allows us, on its basis, to develop a new generation holistic software for managerial modeling of the industrial enterprise, called by us a holistic ERP system. After the presentation, actually, we welcome you to come and learn more about the thousands of interrelated formulas representing the theory of the business model ontology in these two volumes. The second platform of the PMO is called the Tree of Industrial Cognitions, and it is something that no other theory has even attempted to explain. It describes the principle of operation of every enterprise as a systemic object. In other words, it explains the enterprise as a set of subjects that use the objectified collective cognition of the enterprise to manage its future and execute their day-to-day work much more efficiently. The Tree of Industrial Cognitions describes how the enterprise forms its cognitive base of various cognitions in such a way that it can realize its final industrial result in the form of profit, if we can achieve it. First, we have the three roots that consume from the soul that represents the global scientific knowledge, the necessary cognition so that the tree or the enterprise can function according to its set purpose. This means that the roots store everything within the tree trunk that represents the enterprise functional condition. These conditions describe what and how it should be done for the enterprise to fulfill its purpose. Functional cognition is necessary for enterprise staff to form principal cognition, which in turn provides the principal models of the activities of the enterprise. This is the simulation of all the necessary activities for actually achieving the goals of the enterprise. From here on out, the tree leaves unfold when the enterprise starts to implement the previously created principal models in operation, where the final result is the fruits of the tree. The fruits of the tree represent the industrial result of the enterprise. So, forming a deep understanding of the business model ontology allows us to form a hierarchical system of all the necessary cognitions necessary for the functioning of every enterprise. Now I will continue with the industrial results achieved after the practical implementation of the knowledge of PMO and the holistic ERP system. A benchmark example is a hydraulic cylinder manufacturing enterprise that consists of 1,000 employees and that was facing bankruptcy. The following results are based on the simulation of the knowledge of PMO amongst its staff and the implementation of the holistic ERP system that eventually became the DNA code of the enterprise. Naturally, the leading measure for all external observers are the financial parameters. In the period of 20 years, the company successfully increased its revenue more than 20 times with minimal investments. The sold nomenclature of final products has increased several times through thousands of new engineering developments. And the average bite size was reduced by more than tenfold while achieving high efficiency and low cost. In 2021, we started another experiment, this time in a dry type transformers manufacturing enterprise that consists of 50 employees. However, in this experiment, we have implemented and tested the efficiency of only the knowledge of PMO without the holistic ERP system. This means that the managers manage through the knowledge. The results are shown on the slide. For just 1 year, the revenue has increased by 50%, the added value has increased by 127%, the average salary has increased by 50%, and the profit has increased by 357%. So, ladies and gentlemen, the holistic PMO and the holistic ERP system that I briefly presented to you are in fact of disruptive status. This invaluable knowledge and technology can be successfully implemented in the educational systems worldwide, and especially in the engineering education. A number of our conducted studies also confirm that this knowledge can be quickly assimilated by young students pursuing technical and even economic education, providing the right practical skills for management. The eventual mass dissemination of this new type of knowledge will dramatically increase the practical management skills of everyone in need, whether they are engineers or not, and it will naturally lead to the achievement of what we call digital transformation of economic science. In addition to the potential effects of the holistic PMO towards education, IEEE, as the leading engineering organization, can develop a system for certification of enterprise management quality, as well as a system for certification of ERP systems quality, and even of management consultancy quality. We have a detailed strategy actually for achieving this large-scale goal, and we will gladly discuss with everyone. We possess a unique discovery that can become our engineer trampoline towards a better engineering future of our world. Thank you for your attention, and now if you have some questions.